What's up, Internet? We're here with another episode of Whatever. So, we're going to talk a little bit about news today. Before we jump into things, we're going to go ahead and hit you with that good roll call real quick. Like always, my name's Keontae.
And I'm Jesse.
I'm Tyler.
I'm Ricky over here.
And I already said it, but I got to say it one more time. You're listening to Whatever. Now, where I said we were going to talk about news, of course there's always something interesting that's there that you may not pay attention to, but you always get thrown off by those headlines. Well, we decided to go ahead and pick out a few of those that kind of interested us, and we're going to go ahead and do a little bit of a conversation on those. Who wants to get started first?
I got one that it's just sort of interesting, not really news. During Black Friday, the Cartoons Humanity people, they made 70 grand. They did not sell a single thing. What they did was they just cleaned their website. They just cleared it and basically just put a form that give us $5, and people did.
Tyler, you brought up a point about that before, about why do people just accept that they can do stupid
Yeah,
stuff?
if somebody else tried this, they'd get hardcore blasted on the internet. But they because people like them, they can just get away with it. Is that just a credibility thing?
I guess in the sense of
Well, they gave the option. You never had to give money. I mean, you can also say the same thing about Kickstarter. I mean, it's up to
that's
you.
a whole other ball game, though. And the weird thing about that is, and the point of contention people have with that is that you're not necessarily guaranteed something. Because something could happen halfway through and they just don't finish, and you don't, really, to my knowledge, I don't think you get anything back.
Nope.
I know if the project, actually fails, you don't get anything back.
No,
They,
because that has happened before. There's been also scams where people, they've taken, I don't remember the story exactly. I just know it's happened to... This company promised something, and then once they got a lot of money, they took off with it.
But I thought if the project didn't get funded, then you got all the money back.
No, I believe as if it doesn't get funded, but they can also, I think, at some point in time, just kind of cut it and say, okay, well, this is good enough. This is all we need to be funded, and then still run with it anyway. I could be wrong on that. Don't quote me.
Hey,
Yeah, that's talking about.
I mean, South Park did an episode on this. We're the Washington Redskins. We don't do... Might as well just pay us to do nothing. And they did.
But if somebody else did this, they would get,
But
people would not be cool with this.
no, yeah, but I mean, people also bought their Christmas gift when I think it was literally a pile of
So I was right.
bull crap.
Was that I thought it was just they gave you joke poop or something.
No, I thought it was actual bull crap. I don't know.
didn't-
Either way, it was
I
a
didn't
joke.
buy it.
It was a joke. I didn't buy it. I'm not really the biggest fan of Cards Against
But-
Humanity. It's funny, but it gets old after a while.
Oh,
in my
no.
opinion.
Apples to Apples is a way better version.
It is, because you actually have to be creative
Cards
with it.
Against Humanity is hot garbage.
It's just blunt. It's there. The whole novelty of it gets done within the first game. Because
Then again, when we played it too long because we thought we were supposed to play through the stack. No, you're just supposed to...
To be honest, I only played it while I was in Tyler. I didn't play with y'all, so I didn't go
you
through
were
the
there.
huge amount of cards that y'all did. But to me, it's just you throw out. It's almost like cards are just that's what she said. Yeah, you heard it a million times, even if it's the first time it's been showed to you.
Okay, so I know not to play with y'all then.
No, I played it a lot. It just gets kind of lame. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I got some
Apples to
clarification
Apples
on the
is
poop thing, by the way.
What?
Last year they did actually do they sold a set that just had poop in it for $6, and it's not the first time they did something like that because they hate Black Friday. So the year before that, on Black Friday, they sold the game for $5 more.
And they were actually selling copies of it, which
Yeah.
is what's crazy.
Hey, people decide it's the day. I'm gonna finally do it.
Yeah, but the chances of people actually going... Well, no, there would have been a high chance of people going to the Cards Against Humanity website to buy that game, see if they had a Black Friday special. But, you could have just clicked away. You didn't have to give any money, so...
I also think,
It's just
it has a lot of things to do with, society. A lot of society, they like to be, anti-stuff and likes to get on this bandwagon. We're screw prom. We're not going to prom. We're anti-prom. We're going to do our own thing. Have a lot more fun.
I'm not going to say antisocial, but...
They go against the mainstream. That's
Yeah.
where I was
That's one
coming
thing that always killed me. I remember kids in our grade saying something I'm not going to prom. If I want to have a party, I can have a party at home. Or you can just go to the party that's already happening and not be that, kid that's standing out just because you want to.
It's
See,
gonna
we-
cost you much less too.
Yeah, we went to prom, and we actually had a pretty ballin'
awesome
time.
time.
That's what I told
that's
people.
debatable.
No,
But
It may not have been the best party for us, but I thought it was still fun.
No, I
It's
had
still
fun when
fun.
I was with y'all. My date, was part of the reason why I didn't have fun.
Oh,
I'm
well,
not even gonna drop no names.
What I always
That stuff
said
crap.
was like, prom is what you make it. Because I know there was quite a bit of people that looked like they were bored, but they were just being wallflowers. They weren't like
they
getting
were
out
just
there,
sitting down, like sitting at the little tables, talking to their friends.
probably judging
You know-
other people how they're dressed.
Yeah, probably judging other people like, oh, he can't dance. Why is he out on the dance floor? You know what? He's having fun. I don't see you doing
I know.
anything.
Yeah.
I don't care if you look funny dancing. Have fun with it. I mean,
Yeah.
what? We got our valedictorian.
Oh,
You got the valedictorian
Yeah.
to do what? The wobble and all sorts of stuff?
Yeah. And I think the year before that,
I think he was down to do the wobble because I mean everybody does the wobble. Nah, I got
Pop, lock, and drum.
the year before
Yeah.
us. I got
That valedictorian.
Got him to do. Actually, I got him and what became our valedictorian. Both of them did the stanky leg.
That
Then
was
the year
awesome.
after that, we got. I
I
got
think
our valedictorian to pop, lock, and drop, and he just looked awkward.
That-
Okay, I think
but that was funny though.
it was hilarious to watch. I will say all of our valedictorians have no ounce of rhythm in their bodies.
It's weird. You notice, like, every single one of our valedictorian are, like, rhythmically challenged all the time. Like, even the ones after our class was just same.
I don't know. We don't know much on.
The last one I know a good bit about. He's funny. He's kind of like our valedictorian, but more loose.
Yeah.
Oh,
was
yeah.
loose.
Nah, he can't dance.
Dang.
You know,
Dang.
but you know.
You might as well say it.
Okay. Anyone else got any news?
I will say back to the Cards Against Humanity thing. I was thinking it is part of, I guess, the game itself. You expect it to be like that kind of humor as opposed to, so where they say, hey, just give us $5. Oh, that's so them. Like, that's par for the course at this point. So you kind of, I'm not going to say you expect it, but you expect
It makes
something
sense.
along that line.
Oh, it's kind of like one of those things where like the guy did a Kickstarter just to make potato salad.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. That got
I
me.
didn't know, dude.
That,
Man, he got thousands of dollars to make potato salad.
He threw-
Then there's the one guy that wanted $10 for his mixtape and still didn't get $10. Proves nobody wants your mixtape. It don't matter who you are.
You know what's funny? Like that guy actually threw a party centered around that potato salad. They
Yeah, I
made
was
that potato
saying-
salad at the party, I think.
Some of the stretch goals were like a party
Yeah.
with a bunch of potato salad.
If massive stretch goals were made, he would start sending potato salad actually to other people.
That's
Actually,
too cool.
back to that South Park episode. You were talking about the Redskins one. They go around asking just these hipster kids why they donate, and they're like, I don't know, just because I wanted to.
Who done it?
Exactly.
So I guess that could also be our society, but also that's Kickstarter and crowdfunding has been where we got some really good games that aren't AAA, and
Yeah,
we got
like Shovel Knight was crowdfunded.
Shovel Knight, Freedom Planet.
Indivisible.
We're getting
coming out.
Indivisible. Skullgirls ended up being crowdfunding after the was the company that shut down.
Yeah, it's been on. I think most of Way Forward, the games that they do that aren't like their DuckTales and stuff like that, are crowdfunded.
I know Five Nights at Freddy's had to be greenlit by the Steam community.
And I know even then after that we still got a couple of shows, if nothing else. One Punch Man started out as a webcomic,
Really?
crowdfunded into a manga, crowdfunded into a full-on anime.
I'm so done with this guy.
Wasn't there also the crowdfund Wakfu, a French version or something like
Yeah,
that?
they crowdfunded it
Because the dub was horrible.
yeah.
Well, they crowdfunded it and then they dubbed it and it was just utter trash. And then they crowdfunded for a better dub.
Okay.
That stuff is crazy.
Crowdfunding stuff just seems to always be half and half, because even one of the more recent, well, I mean, besides Ukulele, but Mighty Number 9 was a super huge one when it got crowdfunded. But lately, people have just been really tough on that game just because all the stuff in the background that's going on.
Mighty Hero number 9.
There's just been a lot of stuff. That game is not even out yet, but they're already talking about sequels. There's an animated series and merchandise and all kinds of stuff.
Isn't it just Mega Man?
It's
No, it's
No.
not Mega Man. It's Mighty Number 9.
You're funny.
it honestly does legit kind of play it different from Mega Man. I mean, the gameplay style is similar, but it's from what I've seen. I haven't played it obviously, but it's a lot more focused on like high score and points and stuff. Where Mega Man was more about the challenge.
I think there
didn't like
was.
But
Mega Man
it's
either.
for sure Mega Man
Mega Man?
inspired.
No.
I mean, I can understand not being the hugest fan of it, but I think if nothing else, for what it started out, it was a really solid game, especially for the time. And I think it's aged well, if nothing else, as far as going, just to say, like, it's a solid game. It knows what it's trying to do, as opposed to it trying to be some kind of really weird, overly immersive piece of junk that, you know, we start getting taste and bits of here and there today, like games that don't know where they want to go.
Yeah.
It's hey,
X series got
they knew,
weird.
even though they didn't have much to work with, they knew what they were going to work with. They knew what they were doing, and they made a good game out of it. Now, the X series and the Zero series, they did have some weird story arcs going on, but I still say as games, like just gameplay mechanics wise and how, like, you know, the levels were crafted and whatnot.
I think
They
like
did really
3D
well.
X games, one of them was just awful.
Oh, no, I thought, actually, I could have sworn most of the 3DX games were bad.
Yeah, true. But also, fun fact that Mega Man 2, Capcom didn't even want to make a sequel, but the developers did, and so they worked on that on their spare time.
Yeah.
So whatever time they weren't working on, you know, this game, they put that work into Mega Man 2.
That was a weird NES game because some NES games, well, yeah, some NES games have a weird habit of like the sequel is just completely different. Like the second
Yeah.
Mario, the second Zelda, they're just basically different games. I mean, the second Metroid was similar to the first, but it was a Game Boy game. not an
Dang,
NES
Nintendo
game.
even one-upping Sega, changing the formula right up in
Literally, they just kept Sonic the same back then. I mean, they added stuff, but it was still the same game.
But yeah, but Nintendo, I guess, caught on, and even then, like the stuff, like when they changed something completely different, like, you know, we had like 3D Mario games, those
Yeah.
work. It's just, you know, looking at some stats that people buy more of like the 2D side scroller Mario games rather than the new 3D ones. But the 3D ones are solid.
That is honestly is true because as successful as like Galaxy and Galaxy 2 are, they're. I mean, they sold like billions of copies, but the new Super Mario Bros. Series has like really sold a lot more.
Which I don't understand why we're still having those, but 3D World looks pretty dope though.
I'll say, like, I always want to say unpopular opinion. I don't even think it's unpopular, it's just different. I'd still prefer 64 and Sunshine over the Galaxy games. I'm not saying the Galaxy games are bad by any means. It's just, I like the aesthetic that came with the Sunshine and 64, where you were... Yeah, it's still the same. Oh, I've got a hub world. Yeah, I've got other worlds to travel to. But whenever it came to Galaxy, like, you really kind of felt that Galaxy aspect of it all the time. It was always, all right, I'm on some other actual planet. Okay, there's stars in the background, yada yada, which isn't a bad thing, so to say. But whenever it came to Sunshine and Galaxy, like, okay, the hub world is the castle in 64, the island, and, you know, Sunshine. But then it felt like you were just almost going into, like, thematically different Mario games per level. Like, they were just so different as opposed to,
love
oh, it's a
Sunshine.
different themed world. No, it's just a different theme altogether in this place.
Yeah,
Sunshine. Oh, go ahead.
You good?
I was gonna say Sunshine is just visually nice to look at. Just it's so calming.
I like Sunshine more than 64.
I do too. I would say Sunshine is probably my most favorite Mario game. Yes, I put the most time into that one, but the reason I put so much time into it,
It's because you liked it.
I liked it. The appeal of it, the bosses were, I thought were really creative how they intertwined the bosses in it. Like Petty Piranha, it's Petty Piranha, right? The plant?
PD.
Petey Piranha gave me the most trouble. I don't
No,
know
what-
why.
Number one.
Really?
That's like the first boss. isn't
That's
it?
what I was thinking.
The
I'm
boss.
just bad at video games.
I mean, the boss that gave me the most trouble in that one was that one you had to like shoot rockets at while you're on the roller coaster.
Oh, that was so much fun.
The bosses were always fun to me, but I always have more memories of like the platforming parts. That's why I like. That's what I really liked about it in 64. Like to me, I can't really put 64 or the or Sunshine like above and behind each other because what I like them for about each other, they both did really good on. It's just maybe I'll give Sunshine like a little bit of an edge just because they had more to work with, so therefore it did come out a bit better. But, you know, level for level, I say they're about the same in my
That and the
eyes.
GameCube control was just nice to hold.
I still, you know what? I don't care what anybody says. The 64 controller was just fine.
No,
I
that
don't think
controller
it felt
sucks.
bad at all. Like, I mean, they made it where you didn't have to use the yellow button sometimes. Like, you literally, if you're playing a game that requires the left and the middle, that's what you were playing the whole time.
Look, you have to hold that thing.
It wasn't just flip flop
What's
the
so
whole time.
bad?
Yeah, no, it's not bad.
I had to look at the stuff that came before.
I think
like
I
they had perfect controllers before.
I almost never used the D-pad on the 64 controller.
I thought you were about to say the other
Analog
ones. Like,
stick
there was
all
only a
day.
D-pad.
Nah.
That's just, I mean, coming off of the controllers they did before, like the NES and Super Nintendo, they were just perfect controllers. Just build on that. Don't just throw it out and make something new.
I mean, they didn't throw it. They just added something to it.
I mean, I'll be honest.
Nah.
I actually picked up both of these controllers at about the same time in my life, and I always liked the 64 more.
No, I've always hated that thing. It's
I
got
did
this
say,
this like dinky little analog stick. It's
That
got like
breaks
the Z
all the
button on the
time.
back.
Well,
It's never broke on
everyone,
me.
everyone broke that playing 64 Mario, throwing Bowser, spinning the
Never
controller.
happened to me.
Okay,
Did you
Keontae's the exception.
Did you have Mario Party?
They didn't have Mario Party.
That's
played
why.
it. I played it at several people's houses, but they never told me they had a broken controller either. So I think y'all just might be rough.
Oh, I
had
did.
Mario Party.
I borrowed a 64 for like an
I
extended
played
time
the
from
hell out of
someone,
mine in 64.
and
I love
didn't
my
have
64. I just hate the controller.
I remember I borrowed a
Controller sucks.
F-Zero from you, Keontae.
I had that game, didn't I?
Yeah.
Never did.
In my opinion, it's Nintendo's weakest controller.
I can see where you get it, but I still want to disagree.
I don't know.
What are you gonna
I'd
put
have to
what
say.
control. What are you
I
gonna
would
put
have to
above?
say the nunchuck and the Wii.
You
Wii
like
both.
the
The
N64
gamepad.
controller more?
The gamepad.
Well, I have different issues with the gamepad. Not so much its ergonomic features. Besides the stick being above the buttons.
I'm sorry, I just can't get down with like two sticks like that. I like having a controller. I grew up, we grew up playing with controllers.
But at least that feels natural because you have one thing that does something in one hand and one in the other, and they just do specific things. Because this thing, how do you hold it?
You held it.
It's easy.
That
to hold.
controller
One in the middle,
sucks.
one on the right. It's not hard. That's what I always did. I played, I don't know how many hours of Smash Bros. 64.
No.
I don't know how many hours of Ocarina of Time that I still never beat till I was in middle school. Don't know how many hours of Majora's Mask that I didn't beat until a little bit after that. And Super Mario 64, F-Zero, which, that's all I can say about that game. It was good. Like, looking back on it, it's a good game. Just as a kid, that's a little bit high speed for just like someone who didn't really want to play a racing game in the first place.
I'm going to tell you the honest truth about the N64 controller. It's not good. It's not comfortable. Everybody just got used to it. Because I got used to it. I can play it comfortably, but it's not like, if I'm ranking controllers, it's definitely like the bottom.
You know what? But that Z button down there was just so comfortable too.
Yeah,
The Z button was
it's right there
but
when
that
you
left
wrap your
trigger,
hand
that
around.
left bumper though.
How
man.
many
That
times
left
did
bumper
you
got
have to
no
use the left bumper and the Z button?
I guess I can
At
see
the
what
same
Tyler's
time?
coming
Yeah.
with, where he talks about
I don't
it.
think there's ever a game that's decided to use the Z button and the L button that you were actually expect to hit them with any like close of a time.
I can't think of
together.
one that did them at the same time.
Smash
I used the
Bros.
Z
Did
button.
Smash
plenty,
Bros.
though.
64 do it?
No.
No, you didn't have to.
Pretty much the way to play that game was left hand in the middle, right hand on the right side. Boom, that's it. That's all you got to do. Everything is accessible right there.
Plus, you can pretend that
But why have
that
a
controller is
feature
a
you're not
toy.
gonna use?
It's 2-in-1.
Because
Why have a feature that you're
there
not
were,
going to use?
there were a
They
lot
had
of
a bad
games that
history
did.
of that.
There were a lot of games that almost specifically used the D-pad, and if they did that, they typically didn't use the Z button as much because they knew your hand was going to be away from it.
Okay, I guess that makes sense. I
Oh.
still
I
think,
I have small salt
Nintendo's
towards that.
history.
I have small salt towards that controller just because like we were at our friend's house and his like that one controller he has
He
doesn't
has
have
a- yeah, it
it
doesn't
just
have
had
a-
like the needle
It didn't have the
Yeah.
platform to rest your thumb on. It was just like the pole.
and I was the poor schlub that got stuck with using that one, so I'm sitting there trying to play Smash and Mario Kart with that controller and it was hard.
But the
That's 'cause
bulky
it's
freaking memory card, now that I can complain about.
Okay,
That
yeah.
thing was so big where the PlayStation one was just like normal. I mean, I'm sorry, but Nintendo, you could have stepped your A game up on that.
I mean, Nintendo could have had the PlayStation if they didn't like say
If they didn't
screw it at
fall
the
out.
last bit.
No, I know. But that
And then-
memory card made like the weight
and then
of
we
the
had
controller
Philips.
like tilt forward, and I hated it.
And you
But
had
also-
to have it to play certain games
And
like
what-
N64.
Where video games would be out if Nintendo and Sony ended up striking up a deal.
It'd probably actually be pretty good. To
I don't
be
know. I
honest.
feel like we'd be missing some franchises.
I think some things would
Yeah,
definitely be
we
different.
wouldn't have Bandit Crash, we wouldn't have Last of Us.
Some things would definitely be different. I don't know what we would have and wouldn't have, but things would be different.
would have Nintendo? Well, no. Even with that whole Philips fiasco, they still came back. So
Yeah, they good out here.
I will say, like, the memory card thing, I only ever played with the memory card, like, once or twice. And one of the kids that went to our elementary school, he had Tony Hawk Pro Skater on the 64, which I had only ever played on the
So much fun.
PS1 at this point in time. So I didn't even know it existed on the 64. But you had to have a memory card for it. And I'm like, that's weird. I never knew it was a memory card. Yeah, for Pro Skater on the 64, you had to have a memory card. But all the games I played at that point in time saved on cartridge.
Stadium.
Yeah, I was about to
had
say.
to have a. You had to.
no, you didn't.
I
No,
thought
that's
you
saved.
did.
No,
Really?
no, that's
Saved
it.
on cartridge.
That's just for your like transfer your Pokemon.
Yeah.
Tragic.
Yeah, that was a weird thing with the N64 that I had to get used to when I got it. Because before that, I just had like a Super Nintendo, and I got an N64, and me and my parents both were just used to like, well, it's just you don't need anything else besides the game.
That's
But
it.
I had to get something else.
My actually, I started off like Sega when I was a kid.
I had
A
a
Genesis.
I never had I had an N64 growing up, but I was always around a Genesis. I mean, a Super Nintendo
I
growing
think
up.
the only games I had for Genesis were Sonic the Hedgehog 2 and Toe Jam and Earl. And then later in life, I would actually get a football game.
Dang, you didn't have the Genesis version of Aladdin?
Nope.
I had the Super Nintendo version.
Oh, I do too. I have it at my apartment right now.
That's right, he does. I remember seeing it.
Yeah,
I
I saw
play it.
Star Fox.
Fact checked.
Fact check. He was in my room looking at it. No,
I will say, I always thought it was kind of weird that I started out. I'm pretty sure I started on the 64, and then they essentially just brought back the NES in my household. Like, because we had two of a couple of things for no good reason. Because my uncle he got an NES for himself, if I remember correctly. But they also got an NES for my older cousin that lives with my grandparents. So I inherited two NESs. They got the 64 for us. They got a PlayStation 1, I think, for us.
did you have the bulky one or did you have
No.
the slim one?
Both.
Dang.
We started out with the bulky one because I remember playing Final Fantasy VII on that, and I
Dang.
never whenever I saw the PlayStation, or after we got the slim one, or about the time that was coming out, whenever they added the two analog sticks to the PlayStation controller, I had no idea what they were there for. I was just lost whenever I saw them. Like, this is weird. It's probably gonna go away. This will never catch on.
Wow.
So wrong.
I was I was like 7 at the absolute oldest.
That's no
So,
excuse.
nah, that's an excuse.
No
I was
excuse.
No,
dumb.
because we're just introduced to that technology, and so technology, but
It's
as kids, yeah, it was too much for us.
Yeah.
But it feels weird playing in 3D
But then we
with that.
But then
without
we
that.
adapted to it.
How many 3D games have I played at that point in time?
Did you play
Other-
Crash?
Yeah, but that's not 3D.
Sly Cooper.
I've
That's
almost
a
never
generation
Well,
later.
Sly
Yeah, I was about
Cooper,
to say, that's
that
a
was
long
PS2.
time away.
That was PS2.
That was PS2. I thought it was PS1, like late PS1.
Sly Cooper.
No,
No,
it was
no.
PS2.
Dang.
That was Sucker Punch's PS2 franchise.
Yeah.
The 3 big PS2 franchises. Well, first party platforms anyway.
See, I never got to experience the NES like y'all are. Y'all have these memories with NES. I like,
Oh,
no.
I
I started
didn't-
on the 64
I
and the
didn't-
Game Boy.
I didn't get the NES until later in life either.
See, I've never owned one. And then I got onto PlayStation, and I was like, wow, I'm in love. So I got the PlayStation 2.
I was,
And then I got the PlayStation 2 and the GameCube. The GameCube came a little later. And after the GameCube, I went to Xbox 360 and I haven't gone back yet. So
Dang.
anyways.
we got the Wii U too, which is at our apartment, which you still haven't gotten yet. So we're just, we did have
No,
the
I feel
charger.
so sorry for the Wii U, though.
It has so many good games. It has arguably some of the best installments of their franchise. Like Mario Kart 8 is the best Mario Kart. Smash 4, I think it's the best Smash,
This is
but that's up
debatable.
for debate.
Did you see that game theory where it's just repeating history with the same thing as the VR, the virtual headset that Nintendo tried to do?
Oh, Virtual Boy.
Yeah, the
Virtual Boy.
They tried to go out and do something crazy,
And it was like
but crazy
expensive.
couldn't work for
This
them.
just wasn't crazy. They just had a bad mindset. You can't play no games with the tablet, without the tablet even being on. Like, if you don't have the tablet, you're just SOL.
And you also can't replace. You can buy it in Japan standalone now, but before, I believe if it got broken or something, you obviously
just
can't
had
buy
a
another
brick.
one. Yeah,
Yeah.
like
you,
it's just.
you just have an expensive piece of
That's one
equipment you
thing.
can't use.
Yeah, I don't like how their newer things that you have to have essentially that generation's controller just to operate it. Like the Wii, you have to have a Wiimote. Yeah, they give you one, but I've had situations. I brought my Wii with me here, and I did not play it for the first probably
2 months.
2 to 3. And actually, I still haven't booted it up, to be honest. 'Cause
But
I
now you
thought-
have your controller.
Yeah, now I have a Wiimote, so I don't have an excuse for it now. But for forever, like since I accidentally left them back at Mom's house, I just couldn't do anything with it. So I'm like, what's the point in me even trying to turn it on?
That always bugged me because you can plug the GameCube controller up to it, but you can't use it to control the pointer. Well, you can't even control the pointer with just the nunchuck. You have to point.
Yeah.
Actually, no, you can use the game controller, I think, because I've done it before. You just
I
can't
don't
do
think you
anything.
can.
Nah, he's talking some like magic voodoo stuff.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
cheating.
I
All
broke
right.
the game.
Hashtag hacks.
Now, I will say, since we've been on Nintendo for a little while, we're supposed to be doing news. The NX is slated to come out next year. Who said
Yeah,
that?
2016.
Man, they didn't even
And they're
let-
gonna release 12 million consoles, or should I say, ship out 12 million consoles in 2016. I'm not for sure on the exact date, but that's something I'm looking forward for.
Now, for those that don't know, explain the NX a little bit.
Tyler has the better details on that one, so I'll let him do that.
All right. So basically, what they've said about NX is this their next hardware. They haven't said like they haven't said the words "it's our next console," but it's pretty much their next console because the way they've worded it is that it's going to be their third pillar with the 3DS and the Wii U, kind of like what they did when they had GameCube, DS, and Game Boy. But then the DS sold so well that they're just like, we're done with Game Boy. Just go to the DS. You can play Game Boy games anyway. And
Until you
They
can.
messed up
Yeah.
though with that because they added a Game Boy cartridge to the DS, and that's
Yeah.
where they messed
I mean,
up.
it could just play Game Boys anyway.
Yeah.
So, Game Boy games anyway. But
Game Boys.
so that's all they've really, besides that it's new hardware and that's going to be a third pillar and that they're going to show it next year. That's all that's been confirmed. But the big rumor for it's been that it's going to be a hybrid like console and handheld because they're struggling in consoles. Well, they've always. To be honest, I don't think a lot of people realize it, but Nintendo hasn't always had just ridiculously high console sales. Because you look at the trending if you take out Wii, which was the anomaly, and just look at the
GameCube did pretty
It
data
print-
for their consoles,
It printed money.
yeah, because the GameCube sold just over 20 million.
Wow.
It didn't just sell a whole bunch,
I'm
but
about
their
to say,
games sell really
whenever
well.
you start talking about those kind of numbers, you gotta give a comparison for them. You can't
Yeah,
just
like,
say,
yeah,
the
20
lifespan-
million's not much. It's a
But
big
like
number.
in what lifespan? Like was it 20 million like in total or
Yeah, the GameCube sold a little over 20 million in total, and it was out for just over 5 or 6
The
years.
consoles were cheaper back then, though. I could get a GameCube for $100, I believe.
Oh yeah, but
think so,
I
yeah.
mean, yeah, the price of in general, people are also technically weren't making as much as we are now, even though people keep saying that. But the average, our income per person is actually down compared to what it used to be,
Yeah.
even with inflation.
Yeah, according to
and
how much the
everything.
value of the dollar
you know what?
is.
Go back in time with our current currency right now, you wouldn't be any richer.
Yeah.
You'd probably be poor because the value of the
Yeah.
dollar back in the day, except for when the stock market crashes and stuff, and the Great Depression, the value of the dollar was
Yeah, but we might also
crazy.
be using a dollar bill that they weren't using too. We don't.
I was
know.
about to say, if we go back into prior U.S. with our money now, it's gonna count for what they have as long as we can just get that not counterfeit thing across.
Yo, just take
As long as it's justified.
just take screenshots on your phone proving that it's from the future.
This quarter says 2015.
That doesn't even happen yet. Get out of here. That's fake. It's not fake. I'm from the future. Oh, I can't say that, can I? No, Marty.
I heard some grandpa.
Oh no! Wait, when they also probably just kill you for witchcraft?
Probably.
Oh yeah, because you pull out
Depends
phones
on,
like
depends on when you go
trials.
back to. If you go back to
Dang.
Salem, yeah, you're dead. You're done. But you step back to 2003, Bill Gates is just gonna hit you over the head and say that's my idea now.
Dang, bro.
yeah. Let's go back in time and invest in Apple early days.
Not an easy thing to do.
Shoot, if you just put all your money in Dell, and then all your money in Microsoft, and all your money in Apple before it happened, bro, richest man on earth.
Forrest
Go
Gump
on.
did that.
Now, let's go ahead. How about we go back in time and start Starbucks?
I think that's cheating.
Then we have all the white girls around.
Doesn't matter. We're going back in time. We're breaking rules by stepping outside of the time flow.
Yo.
Might as well we already crossed the line. Let's see how far it goes.
Have y'all seen Hot Tub Time Machine when they actually do that though? They go back in time
Yes.
and the dude's like, yeah, Google is no longer named Google. I forgot what it was called, but he named it after himself.
Yeah.
So,
I want to go back and write Harry Potter.
I mean, there is an
You
8th
know-
book basically coming. It's not really an 8th book, it's a play.
Yeah.
So,
Oh yeah, she's
it's just
getting her
recently
screen
announced
rendered.
J.K. Rowling did say the play that's coming out is considered the 8th book. So, it's pretty neat. I'm
And she's
kind of
also,
hyped.
I think she's also getting a new movie coming out too.
Yeah,
And they're getting
the
they're
Fantastic
getting their,
Beasts.
yeah, I'm thinking like a prequel basically.
I don't know the story of Fantastic Beasts. I just know that's the next movie.
You know what? I always want to like get into Harry Potter more than I am because it's pretty cool. But it's so hard to read, in my opinion. Because if nothing else, after you get into the meat of the book and it starts picking up, it's pretty cool. But I hate how the first chapter is always this long, overdrawn out explanation of one room that we're probably not even going to come back to in the rest of the book.
So it's kind of like Moby Dick, where like it gets good, but you know the first good part of the book is like talking about a whale.
I haven't read Moby
Except the
Dick.
Me neither. I
resolution
remember
for Harry
someone
Potter is
telling me
like
that.
3 books later.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's long. It's just long, and the books aren't thin either. Like mocking
Like you can kill
the
someone
Hunger
with those
Games.
books.
All of them are around 150, 200 pages. I think, right?
They're short
I think
books,
so.
yeah.
They're short books, and
You
it's
can go
only
ahead
3
and
books.
like, knock those out in a little while and like feel accomplished for it. You go through a Harry Potter book, yeah, you finally get done with one brick, but you're just like, still
You know, you
six
can
more
take-
to go.
The
You can
first
take
3
all
aren't
those.
that bad, but once you get to Goblet of Fire, it's like, well, nobody can see this, but it's thick.
People hate on. That's another.
It's a man-witch.
People hate on people gaming all day. Well, shoot. If I sat down and read a book all day, I'm still wasting the same amount of time, and it's a non-educational book. It's a book about wizards and sorcery.
I'm already getting shamed by all the
Christians.
Christians.
More educational.
I get it.
Yes.
Well, I mean, you're also increasing your vocabulary to some
That
extent,
is true.
too.
If you read them at a younger age, the thing about the Harry Potter books is like they're written to where an adult can enjoy them, but they're also written in a way where a young kid can reasonably read and understand them.
Yeah.
By the way, Jesse, people have already gotten mad at me by saying, like, who reads anymore, so don't add fuel to the fire.
I'm about to say, he was really about to put that out. Although, to be honest, I'm not even entirely against that because pretty much what people playing video games get judged for is they're sitting around essentially just having permanent leisure time all day. And if you're just reading books just for the sake of reading them because that's what you enjoy doing, you're still spending all day immersed in your hobby. But the thing is, apparently one is just viewed as a better option than the other. And
I
ultimately,
mean, I can save, start, pause, everything on the game that I can do on a book. I can put a
Not all the
bookmark in a
time.
book and just.
Unless you're playing an online game.
I'd say it more along the lines of like, I get why people say that books would be a better thing because, oh, your mind is more active, blah, 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 blah. Well, past the kids that are sitting here just playing Call of Duty all day, you can still get a pretty active mind going
Yeah, still
throughout
gotta read.
most games. Whether you're reading or not, you're still, I mean, if you really get into it, you got a real game going on.
You got strategy. You got all sorts of stuff going. Puzzle solving.
And for the games that have like full worlds, or even the games that don't give you a full world, but you still want to create the rules for that world, you're still essentially building something. Whereas whenever it comes to, the books, yeah, you get to imagine every situation, every plot that comes out. You're still being led down a path just like you are in a game. So, I mean, a lot of people, I remember one of the teachers back in middle school saying, oh, they didn't just show it to me. I get to imagine what it looks like myself. Yeah, but it's still going to do exactly what they tell you to have it do. It's not like you get to change it.
I think just because, like, my attention span is short, like, when I start imagining, I just, like, imagine more than what's there, and I just get distracted and realize, oh, wait, I'm still reading this.
Yeah. So the NX.
And
What do y'all really think about it? Because if you look at the stuff they have out right now, the console, like the Wii U, the 3DS, and they're about to do mobile stuff. The Wii U's been struggling, and next year it's probably its last year.
Probably.
The 3DS, you can honestly argue, is its last year next year, because we're getting a lot of games over here, but they're mostly imports, like Fire Emblem, Bravely Second, and the two Dragon Quest 7 and 8 imports. Like a lot, and then stuff like the next big Pokemon game that we can assume we're going to get next year. But we don't know a whole lot of what's coming out in Japan next year, so next year could arguably be the last year
No,
for
I was
the
gonna
3DS.
say, I'm gonna make a bold statement. I'm gonna assume that it's the last year because they're already about to ship out 12 million copies or copies of the console to the world.
That's a bad idea.
I mean-
they haven't even sold that many Wii U's.
I know, but I mean,
yeah, I was going to say that they didn't let the Wii U age, because what was it like? How long has it been out?
It came out in November 2012.
I think in this world, like how we've judged products or just things in general now, we're not at the point where I don't think you can let things like age into like a mindset anymore. You either release it in or how it is, or either it does well on release or it just doesn't do well at all. Like,
Oh yeah, I forgot it's all a money game.
yeah, well, not even just the money game. Like, I feel like the consumers before, since they had to wait on, you know, more things to come out, there wasn't just, you know, 15 million games on the mobile market, or there weren't, you know,
They didn't have anything to
Even on the
compete
PC
with
market,
as-
there wasn't that many games.
Even whenever you had to deal with just like, you know, the console wars being between, like, say, 64 and, or I guess NES and the Genesis, Super Nintendo and
Also
Genesis.
the Genesis.
also the Genesis.
Because
Which,
Genesis
I-
was...
There was a Master System before the Genesis, but nobody counts that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
And then the Saturn, which just...
You only count the
So-
Genesis and the Dreamcast when you talk about Sega consoles.
yeah. Then there's the Dreamcast
Dreamcast
and like
and
PlayStation. What 1?
Yeah.
Yeah, and the 64, PlayStation 2, GameCube, and late into that cycle, the Xbox. I mean, even if you just look into those, like, you know, essentially like 3-part wars, there's still, even if there were other options to go to, you still kind of had to sit there and let that deal for a while. Now, like, you know, you've heard everything that was being said about the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, like, on release, and essentially people making their entire judgments, like, within the first couple of months of, like, it being out. There is no, okay, I didn't like it at first, but, you know, about a year or so into it, I started to really, like, get behind it. But it's
Yeah.
not going to happen anymore.
These
It's
consoles
think
are ever
either
evolving.
either it
That's-
happened now or it didn't happen.
Either
at
has a
all.
good review on E3 or it's just trash.
The only things we really let age technology-wise now are consoles, and even they're going away from that. Because, like, phones, we get new phones every year. And, like, we've kind of just accepted with Nintendo handhelds that there's going to be a bigger, better version of it the next year.
Yeah.
Even consoles are moving away from that, though. Because, like, recently the PS4, Sony, they've done something on the PS4 that's unlocked, like, another core or something for developers to get more power out of it. So, even consoles now, especially because they're connected to the internet, are just ever-evolving.
I hate app games.
I don't know. I see some benefits to it.
I get it. I've played a couple in my day, and I'm not just against them in general. I do hate. I mean, it's an oversaturated market, and half of them are just clones of each other. And
Hey, Nintendo's supposed to be original.
It's what people say is the race to the bottom. Because,
Yeah.
like, nobody wants to pay for anything on there, so everybody's just constantly cutting down the price till everything's free.
that, I mean, hey, that race to the bottom isn't just happening in games. That's also happening in like currency around the world.
Yeah.
Then you
Now
have
that-
Steam.
Now that things aren't, every country has a fiat currency. Essentially, they don't have anything material to back it up. It's all just digital currency. Everybody's trying to make their dollar worth as least as possible. That way, they can essentially give their money to other people, or whenever other people give them money, it's worth so much more.
Right.
I can see that.
I don't know. That
We just need to go back to the barter system or the gold and silver standard. That would be crazy.
we can. I mean, if somebody goes to the gold and silver standard, everybody has to go with them, or the
Yeah, I
country
know.
that goes
That's
back
what I'm
to
saying.
that standard
Everybody just needs to
sucks.
do that. Everybody.
We're never getting that Pokemon Fighter, though.
Oh, Pokken?
Yeah, when is Pokemon tournament coming out?
Spring 2016.
Bro, I swear it feels like that. It had a release date earlier. They just set it back. Like I swear they did. I know.
Well, it
Japan
came-
Oh,
had
no,
it.
wait.
It came to arcades for a little bit ago.
Dude, Persona
they
5
have
fans,
that.
they got a release date.
Where do you find arcades at nowadays?
Well,
Not in
Japan.
America.
Okay, I was about
No,
to
I mean,
say.
actually, some are preserved as museums now, but you
Well,
still
those are
can't
more
go to
old school arcades.
Yeah.
I mean, but it's not like we're getting the new school arcade.
them. Unfortunately,
games
not.
Yeah.
You just go to your local bowling
I'm moving to
alley.
Japan.
if they have any.
We gotta learn to speak it. I mean, we don't have to. We
No,
should.
No, actually, a lot
let's
of
not
the-
get
a
on that
lot-
conversation.
A lot of the world actually knows English, so
So we should have to learn their language. We should.
We
have
don't
to?
have a national language, Jesse. They do.
Don't you know it's
It's
American-ish?
just assumed that it's American. It's assumed that English is the dominant language. You might as well learn the dominant language in that country.
But it's not our official language.
okay,
That's how
Jesse.
it
Okay,
is.
Jesse. You're majoring in business, then you should learn Mandarin then, because that's one of the
I'm not doing international business. Yeah.
got me there. Keontae,
What?
I don't know.
No, he just beat you. I
Yeah,
can't
he did.
stop that.
Dang.
Even though English is still the growing language in most businesses, even internationally.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Still learn Mandarin. You don't know
I
when
think
that.
Mandarin may still be sitting atop, but just barely.
Well, number one, it's money.
English. Yeah,
English.
number one is English. Is money. So yeah.
Money talk.
It doesn't
We,
matter.
we
as long as
discuss.
you
You
got
and me
money.
discussed this at work.
You
the
throw
other day.
$100 bill down, they're gonna be like, okay.
All right, so I at least understand that.
and then
money is gonna
they
be-
Google it.
This
is
is
worth
worth.
$1 in my country. Leave.
You insult me. You insult my mother, and you insult my cow.
You should leave now. I'm sorry.
Wait, did you give him? Never mind. What else?
Well, what are some other big news topics that's happened? I know it's
Well-
not just video game news or stuff like that. We have some,
To me, this is not as huge, but it is something I just sort of found. Sam Pepper, I'm not gonna say ex YouTuber because
He's still there.
he's still there. He just he went into hiding. I'm not saying hiding, but
That
he just
off again
he-
relationship.
He disappeared for a
Big
while for a prank video that he did about a year ago where he had a prosthetic hand in his sleeve and he was pretending to grope women's derrieres. You know,
that rear end though.
But
Yeah, butts. And then he got blasted for...
Always been a booty
Was
guy.
it a fake hand?
yeah, it was a fake hand.
Nah, I'm a boob guy.
Because I
changed
remember,
my
like, a
mind.
lot of people actually talking
No, wait,
about,
no,
like, he was
no.
actually harassing women on the street. Well, not harassing.
No, it's my bad. Yeah, it wasn't
He
prosthetic
was
hand.
touching women, and they weren't all, were almost never actually
My bad. It wasn't a
consenting.
prosthetic hand. He had he was wearing a hoodie and he had one of his sleeves tucked into his pocket, but he had his hand like out of the sleeve and like he would pull his hand under the hoodie and then like grope women's
Okay,
derrieres.
see,
That's my bad.
I knew that something about that prosthetic hand just didn't seem right.
Yeah, my bad. But the new he's on blast again because he just pulled a prank where they staged a murder where he invited he invited two friends over. I don't know where he was, but they were just in a room together, and then this guy came in wearing a ski mask. He shot one of the dudes and then tied
Blink
up.
Bully, right?
Yeah, it was
Okay.
Blake. Yeah, no, what? No,
Just
no, the
shot
guy.
him in the
Yeah,
head.
no, the guy who got shot, he was in on the prank, but the other guy wasn't. And then that guy's freaking out.
He got tied up.
Yeah,
by
he
the
got
way.
tied up. Yeah, he got
God.
tied up on a chair, and then like before anything happens, like the guy who got shot, I'm putting air quotes over here, gets up and just starts consoling his friend, and everybody was just like,
The insulting part's going too far.
yeah.
This is not a prank anymore.
No, no.
No, it was
Nobody
his-
was insulted.
Oh, I thought you said he insulted
no,
his
he
friend.
couldn't-
No, he consoled him.
Consoled.
He thought he just
hugged
saw his
him.
Yeah,
friend got
yeah,
murdered. in
Yeah, and
front of
his and then like he got
He
put
took his
on
consoling
blast
as an
on
insult.
Twitter and everything, and some people were like, "Wait, is this guy still a thing?" And saying this video's vile.
Nah,
You
do you
know
think-
what? I'll
do you
be
think
honest.
that's a
in my
good prank?
opinion, I don't know about good prank, but to me, I don't see why this one is so like worthy of everybody getting up
I
in
know other
arms
people
about.
do.
Like
Yeah.
the other one, I can understand. Like, oh, he's just going around touching women out in the streets. That's not a good thing for anybody. But I guess a closed circuit prank. Yeah, it may not have been the best thing to do, but really, I think there's more people just on it about, man, last time I saw this guy, he was doing some real bad stuff, still doing bad stuff, still chunk him under the bus.
Right. I don't know if this is necessarily newsworthy because nobody actually got hurt or anything, but I will say it is pretty intense for prank standards.
It-
I
don't
know that.
Other people
I don't know. That I
though.
think really the real victim here is that friend that had no idea what was
Yeah.
actually going on.
What do you
Like,
mean the
he-
real victim? He was the only
Okay,
victim.
well, okay.
We're
What I mean by
victims.
real victim, never mind. I just mean
We have
like
to
he's
watch.
actually the one that we should be talking about, like how.
He actually got hogtied.
But I mean, there's other
Yeah.
people who's done stuff like this. Maybe not the hog tying part, but I mean, Fousey2's done one when he got his best friend in there, and there was a big murder scene, plastic paper everywhere, like most realistic murders. Okay, probably not realistic, but most you can visualize, like compared to movies. Like he Dexter-fied the house, he done all
That's
sorts
not
of
a
stuff,
verb.
and that guy in there with the
Jesse
chainsaw
just made it
going
no verb.
ham, you know.
Well, there's also like a lot. I know this was actually a trend for a little while, where people like would find like corners and whatnot. Essentially, like they'd wait for somebody to start coming up, then one of them would run out, pretend that they're like pleading for their life, and then like somebody would like pop a firecracker or something like
Yeah.
that to make a gunshot noise, and the person that is inside of the people walking up would just like fall over dead,
Have you
and like
seen-
they would just like film the reaction of like what happened to
Have
those
you
people in
s-
the background.
Have you seen that clown prank video where like people are just walking around like a parking garage, and then there's like this scary looking clown with like a mallet, and like
Oh, I
Yes.
love that.
and then like
so
he just hits him
much.
with a hammer, and then starts chasing him.
Yeah.
I love that because he just like
Gosh.
Gallagher head smashes
Oh,
somebody,
yeah.
and then he just looks over like, "You got a problem?"
That was crazy. Have you ever seen the Russian bomb prank?
Nah,
It's like these
Wait.
guys in suits will have a suitcase and they'll be in an area with a bunch of people and talking on the phone. Then they'll get out the phone, sit the thing next to somebody, like say something in Russian and run off.
That is just so messed up.
Okay, that
I
one
mean,
actually.
they actually got the police called on them at some point. 'Cause-
Yeah, I was
Oh, yeah,
pretty
yeah,
sure
yeah.
the police would show up on
I think I remember reading something similar to that where people were dressed like robbers, but obviously like they were actually filming for something like their own thing, but then they had the cops pulled on them because they had ski masks and everything, which that was understandable. I don't think they were trying to prank anyone though; they were just filming something for them.
No, this is some old news, but speaking of some of the crazy stuff, did y'all hear about the lady in New Orleans who was getting like molested and stuff like that, about to be taken out to probably be raped or something? Like a man was trying to steal her purse or something like that. I'm not exactly, but he was doing an assault on her. That's all I know for sure. And a med school student was coming out at 4 o'clock in the morning. It's still dark, driving through and gets out, and the dude shoots the med student for helping, which obviously and then the robber steals his car and drives off. And it's like, golly, so much crazy stuff
Wait,
happens.
was
in
that a
this world.
prank or that was legit?
No, this
No,
was
it was
legit.
Oh.
Yeah, he just came off the heels of pranks. And
No,
so,
it just made me think of it. That
Dang.
stuff is so crazy. Like,
I mean, I'll be honest. You say that's so crazy. If I were a
I mean-
robber, if I were that guy with a gun in this situation, that's probably exactly what I would have done.
I
That's
mean,
actually
I'm
not gonna say it's a reasonable crime, but that's solid logic if you're committing a crime.
I was about to say, like he's already assaulting this woman. He's already, he's already.
for.
He's already.
I'm not gonna say done for. Well, done for,
This
yeah,
goes
but
scoop.
I mean, he's already in that deep. So let's just keep going.
We crossed the line. Let's see where it goes.
That's gonna
society
keep
just
going.
gets crazy. Okay, not all of society, but the best
No,
part
no,
of
you can
society
say
is just
society's
so
gotten crazy. Like even
I don't think it's gotten much worse, to be honest. It's just.
it's more mainstream, I guess.
I wouldn't say more mainstream. It's just, well, one, it's more mainstream, and two, like, I guess we just have better tools in which to do these crazy things with.
I mean, everybody's got a camera now and holding.
Yeah, I was
their
gonna
phone.
say, I've seen some people bring up the point that things haven't gotten that much crazier. It's just that you have instant access to everything that happens. No,
I know, if nothing, this wasn't a prank, obviously. This was like a political, like, stand, but
I think we're past the
I
pranks now.
I know, but I remember,
Yeah.
I mean, on the case of things not getting any worse. This was back in somewhere in American history. I honestly don't even remember what period it was in. I think it's somewhere around. I think it's during the existence of the Confederacy. If nothing else, I know it takes place in the South. There's some kind of little revolution that goes on around the port. Not even a revolution, just like a little battle breaks out. I think I should say, but this one group like goes to this one guy's house. They drag him out of the house. And they hack him up. They, like, literally cut him apart with claymores. So, at the same point in time, I'm just like, alright, if we're doing, like, worse... You can't say we're doing much worse things now compared to the fact they really just... Even though they had muskets and, probably even, like, better guns than muskets. I'm just pulling things out my butt right now. But they had better weapons to go and kill somebody with. But they wanted to make a point by literally cutting him up with medieval weapons.
That is
Jeez.
insane.
Like that, that's one of the things that stuck with me. Just the fact they like, all right, they've got cannons, they've got naval forces, they've got like solid handguns and rifles to go around.
They got
and, like,
advanced
shoot people
technology
with.
for that time.
I wouldn't say advanced, but they
Compared to their technology.
that was their technology of the time. But they just decided, nah, let's prove a point. Let's get the swords out. I got beef with him.
They went out of their way just to do that.
Sometimes you gotta make a point.
Yeah.
You gotta make a stand.
Now, we'll say, well, this isn't a stand, but I guess it would be a point. The story about the woman who got 6 ribs removed to look more like a lot of people say a cartoon character. I can't remember if that was her point.
No,
to do
she
it exactly.
did. In the video that I just watched, she did say like she wasn't like she was a big fan of cartoons and she was inspired by it. Too,
Okay, so essentially, Tyler, your hand is up. Go ahead. I'm calling you.
How many ribs do we have?
I
Oh,
think
that's like half your ribs, bro.
I think men have 12 and women have 13.
Why do? Okay.
Yeah, that's like half your ribs.
Remember, we got one rib taken out.
Dude, yeah.
Dang.
That's always going to be. The
Wait,
reason
I'm
I
confused
remember.
now. Are y'all telling me the truth, or are y'all just making
No,
a metaphor?
No,
It's-
not in the Bible. I mean, that's what
Biblically
God-
speaking, like he took a rib out, and that's what he used to make a woman out of. That's why
Yeah.
they're women. They're not something else. They're part of men.
I mean,
because
technically-
men made them, so to say. But even scientifically, afterwards, they do have another pair of ribs than we do.
So shouldn't they have 14?
I mean, if you're going biblically, we're all
I
sand
said
people.
12 and they have 13.
Shouldn't
Yeah.
they have 14 if they have another pair?
No, I said
No.
like
No,
another-
like, generally when you speak of ribs, you're thinking of
Like each
what's-
own rib. Yeah.
Why am I going to tell you individual ribs? I'll say that in the case of like if we're eating ribs, but you know, whenever it comes to like literally picking parts out of the body, I speak in pairs.
I used to think the same thing you thought when people
That's only
thought
one.
of it. Like, wait, we only have 12 ribs? I swear I feel more than 12 right here, you know?
Shoot, I give up.
But
Anyway, cool, huh?
I don't know.
She wants to be Jessica Rabbit.
The Jets.
Yeah, 12 in each. So.
Essentially, yeah. Now she's actually got a 14-inch waist because the dual rib thing. She also had breast augmentation. I can't remember what size she started out with, but she's now a J cup.
Isn't that counterproductive?
Well, I mean,
it's cartoons,
it's
dude.
the back muscles that would get sore from, not ribs. I don't think ribs
Cartoon,
help
that's
that
anime,
much.
bro.
Nah, that's like 90s cartoons. Like, anime does some pretty crazy stuff, but let's face it, that ultra-thin
She's too old.
waist plus really wide really wide hips
Whips?
and big breasts, that's like the 90s cartoon mom. That's Dexter's mom.
I was
That's,
say, did she
That's
got a
just
booty
mom
though?
did have some big boobies.
that's Helen from In The Incredibles, Elastigirl, you know.
No,
that's-
Helen just had big hips.
she
Yeah,
has some
hips.
huge hips, though.
Hips, thighs, and don't
that's my
discriminate against
point.
pies.
I mean, she kind of had to have huge hips to push out Dash's big head.
He had a monster of a head.
She's still no Lois.
He's just a block.
Gosh.
Oh yeah, Lois did. Oh yeah, Chris was an elephant child.
He's been the same size since he was born.
Hey!
No, I think he just actually got taller slightly, but he was huge.
I mean, if that was the case, Lois had a harder time pulling out his wee-wee, as we would like to call it. 'Cause
Oh, yeah.
apparently he's hung like a horse. Like,
Oh
all
yeah,
the way
he
through.
is.
Yeah.
I mean, even if they were big, baby meat's still baby meat.
I don't know, but if he
Dang.
came out just how he is, I mean, what if he didn't have baby meat? He just skipped that
No.
whole...
No, it was just like normal, like person size when he was a baby, and then when he grew up, it just grew. Oh
Okay.
dang! Why did we?
Anyway,
I
this
don't
guy
even
got a
know,
couple
man.
ribs out.
I'm sorry.
Dang, Jesse.
I'm sorry.
Don't get me
What
started,
I think is
Jesse.
a weird thing about the story in general about Pixie Cat. Dust?
Pixie Fox, I believe.
She
Pixie
actually wants to
Fox.
be a cartoon
That's
character.
her name. I don't know if that's just what she goes by. I don't know if she had a name legally changed or if she already had last name Fox, which is understandable. Jamie Foxx is out there. And their parents just named her Pixie, which it's kind of a weird name, but let's face it, you know, anything's free game at this point. So, but
Hotel
I get-
Rwanda.
overall, I'm okay. That's a sad thing. No.
So messed up.
I'm seeing things that
I
she's
can
a
name
stripper
your kid
too.
Whatever I want.
But ultimately,
Yep.
I'm okay with letting her do what she wants. But I'm also going to say I'm on the side of I
Why?
don't know why she did it, and I'm not exactly happy to know that she did it. In the sake of, I mean, we keep hearing a lot about this stuff about, you know, everything's going on about body shaming and whatnot, and, you know, the thin privilege versus, like, you know, what, you know, the those of the curvier persuasion have to deal with in their life. Why is it that we have to, you know, fancy up words and, you know, say things like curvy instead of big or chubby,
Or
you know,
thick.
that if, yeah, apparently, I feel like even, like, some people you talk to, thick isn't even a favorable word. Like, I just want to be able to go up to somebody and say, girl, you thicker than a bowl of oatmeal, and she just look at me and be like, thank you.
I think it was like either this year or
Oatmeal
last
is
year that
good.
people got mad at Walmart for having like the bigger size suits. They called them plus size, and people
Yeah.
got mad. It's like, we can just call them fat suits.
I mean, did we get an Eddie Murphy movie about that? No, that was a Martin Lawrence movie where he's in a fat suit.
I mean, Eddie Murphy was fat in the movie, but he wasn't a woman in Dr. Dolittle.
Yeah.
Oh man.
But I will say, just what comes to me. Now I will say that thicker than a bowl of oatmeal thing. That's not original. I got that off of some random gif on the internet. To this day, I laugh about it.
We're
'cause-
rolling with it now.
It showed in like a little court case, and like, you know, there's just subtitles. But I guess as the prosecutor, DA, something like that. I doubt it's a DA, but the prosecutor's like reading it off, and like apparently, like, you know, the defendant said that, and then the camera pans over to him, and he gives this point to her like, "Hey, that's a dope line though."
Oh, God.
You can't with that reaction in court. You can't even play.
Well, guys, we got
Kyle,
to
you don't got a girlfriend, bro. You should go out on the streets and try this.
I'm fairly certain that would result in me being injured.
Well,
I
it's
don't know.
better.
You never
It's
know.
better than the other option where you want one of us to go to jail.
We can't talk about that.
We cannot, but
It was a good idea though. You
No,
go to her,
it's
talk some
not.
mad trash. I come in, beat you up, and she's like my hero.
Nah, that's
Nah.
See, then we can't be friends with her around because then she's gonna be like this. Everything I know is a lie.
It's
Well, he
called
already
taking
said
one
he-
for the team.
he already said we suck as friends. So
Yeah,
They do
Yeah.
suck.
you still got to deal with us.
yeah,
I can leave.
I mean,
How
are
you
you
gonna-
gonna though?
yeah,
Probably not.
Exactly.
yeah. All your stuff's here.
I can get new stuff.
Not cheaply though.
But you can't get that little hedgehog over there. That's fond memories
That's
right there.
one of a kind.
Yeah, it's one of a kind.
So burn with fire.
All right.
Damn.
Anybody got a lighter? I want to do this on tape. We'll
Please
upload
don't.
it later.
Yeah,
Actually,
and we'll let her know that.
I'm not a huge fan of fire.
Okay.
Let's stick it in the
And-
microwave.
I guess my last topic to bring up. I don't know if y'all have any others to follow with it, but it is being said in this is on the political forefront, by the way, for those who either want to tune out or judge us harshly based on our views.
Or hate us for our views.
Let me
Yeah.
have it.
No, it's not to you. This is to the audience.
I mean, you already hate us for it.
On the essentially right now in Paris, many of the or not in Paris but near Paris, there are many of the world leaders coming together on a climate change summit. They're speaking on ways to essentially have the world be greener. And I don't feel like that's too bad of a thing. I mean, it's good to go ahead and start addressing things before it
Global
actually
warming
becomes
is a
an
myth,
issue.
though.
Dang.
That's actually what you kind of combed through my statement there before things become an issue.
Oh.
Like everybody already keep saying like, oh, it's already this bad, it's already that bad. I don't think. All right,
Sure.
man-made global warming that's the part where I'm gonna say it's a myth. Any things I've seen actually give the man-made assistance to it less than 1%, if not still near negligible amounts.
A minuscule.
Yeah, so that's one thing that I can't agree with. But our current president has said that not global, but climate change is actually on the forefront. Is the foremost threat to national security given the current situation.
I think didn't his chief of or not chief of justice, but his not CIA advisor, but what's the word I'm looking for? National Defense advisor also say that too.
I
could
part of
be
me
wrong.
wants to doubt that, but I'm not sure at this point. Can't confirm nor deny.
I'm sorry. That just sounds dumb.
Well,
Might.
I remember I was listening on the radio today, so I don't know how how credible. Well, I mean, he's a pretty credible guy, but still, we're just taking his word. Saying back in early, I think the '80s, he was saying they were saying, oh, the ice age, we're heading into a second ice age,
And then all of a sudden we're getting hotter.
and now it's just climate change.
I mean, yeah, but if you look at it, our sun's aging, and that's what's making a huge difference in our
Yeah.
climate change. And it
It's-
doesn't age quickly; it ages rather long. I hate to say it, but the climate change that really would affect us to a certain degree, where we have to panic, is most likely going to happen with not our generation.
I don't even think it's the next. It's probably going to be 6 or 7 down, if that early.
I think,
Yeah.
Keonta, didn't you tell me you heard this that the studies were showing that it was actually the sun that goes in cycles every 11 years?
Now, both our planet, obviously our planet goes in cycles, us being here, in America, or actually just in the North and South America continents
Pangea, bro.
together, we have to deal with, specifically El Nino and El Nina, which I'm pretty sure, other continents deal with, similar effects. I don't know if they deal with the same, I'm not a scientist and I don't check on the global,
We're all about
climate.
that bro science.
Armenia's going ham right now.
But yeah, I mean, we already have to deal with that kind of stuff. But then on top of that, the sun actually goes in its own cycles. And just as much as it's getting warm right now, it's being pointed towards the year 2030, I think I said before.
Yes.
That there's going to be what's going to be called a Mondus minimum, which is essentially the sun hitting a low cycle where, it may be burning hot in one cycle, then it goes cool, then it goes hot, then it goes cool. Mondus minimum is actually a cool cycle, and if I remember correctly, it's actually probably one of the cooler cycles that it can even be hit in, if nothing else, in the current stage that our sun is in, as far as just star cycles go. And to be technical, if the planetary climate cycles were to line up just right with that, we could actually be setting up for near ice age conditions. But I don't think anybody's willing to say that that's even gonna happen.
Well, let's get those heaters
It's
ready.
like one day the sun's just gonna go poof.
Before it goes poof, the Earth will actually be swallowed in it, right?
Yes, I do know that.
Remember that episode of?
We won't be here.
But
Yeah, we won't be long.
There was a.
But everybody wants to be like, oh, why are we worried about it? Well, kind of do. I mean, if we want human race to maintain its survivability, why do we need to cut funding from NASA and everything like that? NASA, I think, it's getting a boost again. NASA's coming back.
Yeah, they're
NASA's
coming
becoming
back.
more and more important. But we should really fund more into space technology if you think about it.
Nah,
I
I'll
think-
be dead, so we'll peak and we'll already be done.
Yeah, why do we
then.
care?
We should fund more of the arts and stuff in general. It's like people
No.
always say we should turn STEM into STEAM.
Though I think this whole deforestation thing, which is not I'm not gonna say it's not a hot topic. I think we should actually look more into
It's still kind of a hot topic. It's just I think that since we're a lot less dependent on wooden structures now, we're going a lot more towards steel frames and a lot more of that. That we're dealing with a lot less necessity for
switch over to
massive wood change.
Uh,
I mean, you can't build a house out of hemp. I mean, you can.
that
But,
paper, though.
that. I mean, I'm about the paper though.
oh well, yeah, we can switch to paper. I'm fine. With
Don't
that.
Paper was an old
Look,
nursery rhyme about this.
No, you just go in class. Teacher's getting mad. Just light your paper on fire. Everyone gonna feel good in a few minutes.
Nah, see, but that's the thing, I have a lot of theories why government really doesn't want, marijuana to be legalized. Part of it is, think of all the things you can do with it, Marijuana technically is considered hemp, am I right?
It's part of hemp. Yeah.
Yeah.
The
You
timber
know, you
company's
could-
gonna take a huge hit.
Probably use marijuana as paper. Not saying it's the greatest thing in the world to use, but, it's possible.
It's cheaper.
There's a lot of things it can be used for, and I feel like, the government doesn't want to lose some of, the things that they already have. Like,
Well-
what government gains profit off of.
That's gonna
Yeah,
be a whole
but,
other
like,
excuse for
what I
why
was
you didn't
gonna-
do your homework.
Well,
I lit my homework on fire.
what I what I was gonna say is
Then I
because
got high.
it's not. It's no surprise that big corporations fund these politicians, so they're not some of them being timber, obviously.
Mhm.
And hemp, weed's legal. Well, now they're losing money, and thus the backing from that corporation.
That's
and blah,
if we go into
That's
that,
if.
that
That's
textile part of the industry.
Yeah,
I think
I
most of
guess.
what's going on with marijuana right now, a lot of people are probably trying to defend it on the standards of hemp could save us money or hemp could make better rope, yada yada yada. But let's face it, most of these people making that argument are still just trying to roll up and blow up.
Yep.
No, that's true, but the thing is, it's like,
Hey, you're cleaning up some
Like,
prison space.
I don't smoke marijuana or anything like that and stuff like that, but
No,
I see the
none of us
benefits
smoke
of it.
marijuana. That's illegal.
But there's a lot of benefits to it. I'm not just saying medical wise, but the government can tax it just like they do cigarettes and alcohol. Making money off of that lowers crime rates in jails and prisons and stuff
In
because a lot
Colorado-
of petty crimes are done just by I have a blunt in the car. Well, that'd be gone, And then what else is there? They monitor it like alcohol. I know a lot of people argue, you have parents giving weed to kids and stuff and blowing it in their face and stuff. Well, I mean, got that argument with cigarettes, you got that argument with alcohol, but no one questions that anymore,
Well, I mean,
It's gonna be monitored the
actually,
same
there
way.
are and I think this is kind of a silly thing. Right now, there is, in certain areas, tickets can be given to adults that are smoking in the car with children present in the car. And
I
then
think
you can
it's
also
anyone under the age of 18.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. And then you can also, there's government-assisted housing essentially now. It's been around, but they're essentially going to institute a rule you want to stay here, you can't smoke inside, and it's not because for the sake of keeping the value on the property. It's I mean, because obviously what they want property values for.
Health
but it's
concerns.
the health concerns, yeah. And so now that it turns into people can't smoke in their own houses. There are
Shoot.
quotes on
From
that.
the research that I've read, I really think it says that, cigarettes are way worse than weed.
Now, okay, I'm going.
The
I
research
guess
I
we'll
read.
cut it there for the sake of a time constraint issue. So we might pick that one up on.
All right,
Speak some
that's
logistics
fine.
on marijuana in another episode.
That's
You know what?
Maybe you
Also,
guys looking forward to it, maybe not.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Cigarettes?
and if they don't want to wait that long, they can look statistics up themselves.
Yeah,
if
do
they
your own
want.
research.
Yeah,
Yeah,
feel
do your
free.
research.
We're
Well, yeah,
technically
prove
not
us wrong.
We're technically, even though this was a news episode, not a news outlet.
We're not a news outlet, nor are we credible. So remember that.
To a certain degree.
Yeah, I mean we're like the Onion, except less believable.
And they have a legit show.
Right?
But this has been another episode of the And Whatever podcast. Remember, you can check it out every Tuesday on YouTube and SoundCloud. If you want to keep up with the podcast on Twitter, you can follow us at And Whatever Podcast. Or if you want to follow our individual Twitters, I'm on Twitter at Tyler Chancellor, Keontae's at Keontae00, Jesse's at JesseTrio95, and Ricky's at Ricardo Noriega0. Tweet us, let us know what you liked about the show, didn't like about the show, how we can improve, or if you just want to ask us questions, tweet us with the hashtag AskWhatever. Until next time, thanks for hanging with us. Bye, guys.
See ya.
Later.